Askreddit. Redditor with real-life butterfly effect stories, what happened and the sequence of events and the results. Askreddit. Nearly every single friend I have in college is because one day in my gen ed health class we had to pick a seat that would become our seat for the semester. When I came in there weren't many seats left, and the people I sat next to ended up becoming my best friends and introduced me to all of my other friends in one way or another. That reminds me of what happened to me. First semester of college I bumped into a girl in my hall and I recognized her from a massive BOA, Bands of America, competition 2 years ago. We became friends and she got me into a specific club. Well, that club hosted a party second semester and she convinced me to go because I hate parties. We get there and she runs into a dude she used to know from HS. That dude has a cute friend who I end up dating, and still am currently, and the only reason he was at that party is because only one of his friends had a connection to the club that would grant them access. And the only reason my current BF became friends with that kid is because he accidentally stumbled upon him and the rest of his future friend group when he wanted to smoke around campus and found them 1 year ago. So, without those friends who we happened to meet and who had each convinced us to go, we wouldn't have seen each other at all or ever met. He's a year older in schooling and we have vastly different majors. Pretty cool, right? Edit, I'm so happy my highest comment is about this. Askreddit. My mother wore heels to work and slipped on the carpeted steps, resulting in a broken high heel and a broken leg. While she was home recovering, she somehow developed allergies that led to her needing an inhaler. The inhaler interfered with her birth control and now I have a brother 13 years younger than me. Edit, mother confirmed that it was the penicillin that she was prescribed. Askreddit. Grew up speaking Spanish, so in high school my mom made me sign up for French. I didn't really care, but figured whatever, at least it's something new. I was a good kid, bit of a cut up with absolutely zero direction. In that class I met a girl and we sort of became friends. She got sick that year, cancer. It was horrible. Visited her in the hospital, got close to her family, still am. She passed the following year. French, it turns out, was her favorite subject and her dream had been to study abroad. Her parents asked if we, her friends from that class, could do that for her. The years went on, I worked every summer, tried to save up to study abroad. I noticed the others who had made the promise weren't making moves towards it, so I worked even harder. Finally went for a semester my third year. TBF, I always enjoyed French, but it wasn't a passion. Except that semester something kind of shifted. Came home, finished undergrad, then got into a master's in French. The whole time my friend's mum is excited, feeling like my friend is somehow vicariously living through me. I graduated from my master's and then moved back to France. Been here 3 years now, and May 1st was the 11th anniversary of my friend's death. As I type it out it's not so outwardly obvious, but the entire time it's been so clear for me that she's been with me on this journey. Edit, holy cow. Un grand merci for all the sweets, comments and awards. You all are really too kind. Askreddit. I'm alive because my aunt was born. My grandfather was conscripted into the Romanian army as a medic, and his unit was one of the many acting as a defensive barrier, covering the Nazi supply lines to Stalingrad. She was born, and he was called back to Bucharest from the front. While he was on leave, the Russians launched Operation Uranus, which decimated the Axis forces. He received word that his unit had been completely destroyed. He was never reassigned, and in 1948, my mother was born. I'm also alive because a bunch of Romanian cows got sick. My other grandfather was a pharmacist, back when that meant actually making medicines. He was also a Jew. The town he lived in was largely agrarian, and their cow herds came down with some illness that was killing them. He whipped something up that cured them. The townspeople were very grateful to him. So grateful that when the chief of police heard that the Nazis were coming to town to take inventory of who lived there, he came to my grandfather's house with some train tickets for him and his wife. They escaped the Nazis, and never got caught. My father was born at the end of 1945. I guess this is the opposite of the butterfly effect, really. Rather than one small action blowing up into a much more important chain of events, two hugely improbable events are eventually lead to my birth and obviously my extended family as well. And now, I run ads on the internet. Askreddit. My co-worker has a big ego and thinks she knows best. We had a patient who received home visits. He had a medical condition that, if observed by a newcomer, might cause alarm, but we were very much informed about it and familiar with it. Instructions were that the condition was normal for him, not a concern in itself. One day the patient's wife and my co-worker seemed to have some kind of power struggle, disagreement about his condition and treatment, and the co-worker ended up calling an ambulance. For his long-term unchanged condition that we were very familiar with, he was taken to hospital and while caught an infection. This infection impacted his eating and he lost a lot of weight fast. His condition deteriorated over the next few months and he passed away. Honestly, it wasn't unexpected that he might pass, but it seems the specific scenario it ended up happening in stemmed from that unnecessary hospital visit. Askreddit. The wife and I were having dinner in Hawaii one night on vacation. As we were getting up to leave, I noticed she hadn't finished her beer. I told her she should finish the beer since we paid some ridiculous price for it. Fast forward 30 seconds and we leave the restaurant and are walking the 3 blocks back to the hotel. About 50 feet in front of us as we're walking down the sidewalk on the left side of the road. A car comes flying out of a side street from the right and crosses through the street, hops the sidewalk in front of us, and smashes into a wall. If she didn't finish her beer, we would have been smoked by the car and most likely squished between the car and the wall. We always finish our beer now. Askreddit. This happened 2 days ago. It was early in the morning and as I'm about to leave for work when my mum reminded me that I forgot my water bottle on the table while I was walking out. For whatever reason I decided to go leave my backpack in the car and then walk back into the house for the water bottle. Well, that took about maybe 10 seconds total. It started to rain heavily on my way to work and couldn't see very well, but I noticed the brake lights of the cars ahead stopping suddenly and some moving off onto the shoulder and decided to slow down and put the hazard lights on for the people behind to slow down. Well, turns out everyone was braking because a 4-5 car accident had just happened seconds before. All the cars were scattered across the highway, spread across the left, right shoulders, and another had hit the crash barrier, basically a total bad mess. The drivers were still in their cars, I guess, processing what had just happened. After seeing it, I immediately started to think that if I hadn't gone back for the water bottle, there's a chance that I could have easily been in the accident or at least even closer to it. It tripped me out for the rest of the day. Askreddit. Went to a soccer match on a Thursday night in August 2010, after years of turning down invites from multiple groups of friends. But this time it was for someone's birthday and they gave me a ticket, so I said WTHOK. Fell in love with my local team. I had watched soccer in HS and college and of course the World Cup, but this was different. I rekindled friendships from years before through our mutual support of said team. Made new friends. Experienced new things because of friends and team. Drank more than I usually did. In January 2016 I got laid off from a job I had grown to hate after 8 years and a lot of rounds of layoffs, just waiting for my number to get called. That March I was getting antsy and bored at home because I was trying to save money while still looking for work and decided to get off my couch and go to an off-season supporters group meetup, which I usually don't like to do because I'm not good at the social skills, and if I hadn't been unemployed I know I would not have gone, but that night I met the woman I instantly knew I was going to fall in love with. Got a new job. Quit drinking. Finally went on a date with her 6 months after meeting her. Figured out I hated the new job. Quit the job. Moved to her city 35 minutes south in 2017 and have been working odd jobs part-time and doing gig economy stuff. I moved in 6 months later. We had a puppy magically fall into our lives within 3 days of just talking about maybe getting a dog, and it's my first dog ever and I am so happy about it. Got engaged. Got married in December and I'm so happy about it. She kept telling me Reddit was actually good. I actually signed up. I saw this post. I replied. Hi. We also just got a kitten.